What's up everybody, it's Justin and welcome back to the BTR Garage. Today marks the beginning of the bittersweet end of my 2017 Subaru BRZ as we know it. So I've had the BRZ for a little over 2.5 years now. That is a long time for just about any car that I have owned. They usually last about a year or so before I get rid of them and move on to the next one. And we've done so much with the BRZ. We've done a number of different suspension systems, I should say 2 different suspension systems, a race comp, engineering the MCS suspension system, a couple different headers on the car, all kinds of different tunes on the car for power and dyno sessions, all kinds of other upgrades as well, a few different wheels and tire sets that we've had, the Wed Sports, of course, being the ones that I've loved the most, the NK RPF 01s, and then the Rota Titans as well, all kinds of other good stuff. We've done track days, we've done tons and tons of autocross with this car. We've won all kinds of local autocross events. We won a Pro Solo national level SCCA event with the car, and we set some pretty quick lap times at our local High Plains track in the car as well. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and I've decided to part out my BRZ and sell the car along with selling all of the parts here in the near future. And I'll talk a little bit about how I came to that decision and why I'm going down that road and what the future looks like. All right, I gotta sit down to talk about this. I'm gonna get emotional just talking about it. Okay, probably not really, but it is a big deal for me. I've loved this car in the 2.5 years that I have owned it. We talked about some of the stuff we've already done with it and that kind of thing just a second ago, and really felt well connected with this car. It's one of the best cars I've owned over the years from a pure fun factor and driving standpoint. Definitely from the driver's standpoint, these cars are hard to beat, and I've driven a lot of cars, power cars, fast cars, not so great handling cars, and then lightweight, great handling cars like this one and Miatas and RX-8s and other similar cars. This one kind of tops the charts for me, and is in fact, which I probably mentioned to you guys before in the past, is one of only 2 cars that I've bought twice. So I had the FRS before this one, the 2013 FRS, and then bought another one, obviously the 2017 BRZ. The only other time I did that is when I bought 2 Mazda Miatas. I actually owned 2 1999 model Miatas, one of the 10th anniversary Miatas, and then after that I owned one of the regular 5-speed 1999 Miatas, and also fantastic cars. Again, one of the 2 cars that I've actually bought twice in my life. I've liked them so much. So why are we getting rid of it if I love it so much? It is hard to get rid of, and it was hard to come to this decision, and it's kind of been a long time in the coming. I have really kind of 3 key reasons why I'm going to be getting rid of the car. And the first one being is I never drive it anymore, hardly at all. With my new job in downtown Denver here, I take public transportation. I ride the bus every day, and my wife usually drops me off at the park and ride, and the car just sits in the garage. So in the last year or so, I lost my old job. I think back in April of last year, I had 4 months off where I was just taking it easy and doing a lot of car stuff and house stuff. It didn't get driven much then, and then when I started my new job in late July, I began riding the bus. So this car has had maybe 300 or 400 miles put on it since the middle of last year. I mean, I think since Solo Nationals, which was in early September of last year, I maybe put 150 miles on the car, and that sucks. It sucks when you have a payment on the car. I pay $465 a month for this car payment, and it just doesn't get driven. And to me, thinking about it, it just wasn't worth it to keep the car just to autocross it, you know, 12, 14, or 15 times a year and do a handful of track days. I think there's better ways to put my money to use. If I was still daily driving it like I did when I had my old job, then it has a little bit more of a purpose and a little more use case there. So that's kind of the primary reason. It's just not getting driven, and I'm basically paying for the car to sit in my garage. All right, now the second reason, kind of the second main reason I'm getting rid of the car is I have 2 race cars right now. I have this one, which is my primary autocross car with the casual track day stuff on the side, and what used to be my daily driver, which isn't anymore, of course. And then I have my BMW, my E36 Time Attack car, and I'm looking to really focus and pump some effort into that car and get more involved in the Time Attack scene. So doing Global Time Attack, Grid Life. I already do NASA time trials. I'm going to do some of the SCCA time trials this year since they revamped that program. So I'm going to be focusing a lot of effort on that car, and effort usually means more money, unfortunately. So we'll use some of the sales from this car to pay for the BMW. I paid cash for everything on this car, so I have no debt on it other than the car loan. So selling off some of the parts on this car will help me fund my BMW. So that's the second reason, being able to focus on one race car, and that'll be my track car. So for autocross, I'm still gonna autocross. I have a lot of friends in the autocross scene and have lots of opportunity for co-drives there, and even nationally competitive co-drives. So my autocross friends, if you've got a nationally competitive car and you need a co-driver, I am available this year. I'm gonna try to stay in the STX class where I've run my BRZ because that's what I know and what I like, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future here this year for autocross. All right, so that was reason number 2. Reason number 3 kind of piggybacks on reason number 1, paying for a car that I don't drive that much. So saving money. I want to get rid of the car payments. It's the only bill that I have. All my other cars are paid off, and I don't have any credit card debt or anything like that other than my house. So getting rid of the BRZ frees up that final car payment and allows me to use that money for more savings, traveling and doing more track stuff if I want, and more of my real estate investment stuff, which I've been doing for a long time. I'm really trying to accelerate my investment business that I do on the side, because my goal eventually is to not have to work my 9-to-5 job and be able to do my own side businesses that I like doing, the YouTube stuff kind of being one of them, and some other things as well. I have other ideas and things that I want to do. So freeing up that was a little over $5,000 a year in car payments allows me to invest that in other opportunities, which ultimately pay me back and allow me to do stuff that I like to do with cars and other things as well. All right, so those are the 3 reasons, and actually I left something out of reason number 2, focusing on one race car. And actually now both of my kids, since they've been driving autocross or racing autocross with go-karts, I now have 2 karts. There's a second one over here. So I've got both my kids racing go-karts. I now have 2 go-karts, one for my daughter Shelby, one for my son Caleb. So freeing up this autocross car, not having to work on it for autocross, lets me focus on the kids' cars as well. So I've got that focus there for autocross, and then the one track car. All right, so I think that's everything. I am going to get started parting this thing out, taking all of the parts off it, the majority of the parts off it. Some of them I will leave on and pass on to the next owner, but it'll be mostly going back to stock. I may do some updates as I've got the car taken apart and parted out. Your best bet is to follow me on Instagram, the Justin01. I post most of my real-time updates to my social media pieces, primarily Instagram, just because my YouTube videos usually are not actually edited and uploaded and released until a week or 2, sometimes 3 weeks or even 4 weeks after I've recorded them. All right, I think that's it. We're gonna end this video and wrap things up. No more 2017 BRZ, we're moving on to other things, and we're gonna see how things go. Stick around, we got a lot of good stuff still coming up for the channel. You guys might have seen some of the BMW videos that I put out already in recent weeks. We're gonna continue with that stuff and see where things head in the future. Who knows, there might be another project car coming up in the future. I was actually out at the kart track where they were drifting recently with some janky old drift cars, but it looked like a lot of fun. Should I get a drift car? I don't know. I actually have thought about it. We'll see. But stick around. We got more videos coming up. Stay fast out there. I am checking out. Talk to you all next time.